Welcome to the Real Turf Techs podcast for the technician that wants to get real. Follow along as we talk to industry professionals and address hot topics that we all face. Along the way, we'll learn tips and tricks. I'm your host, Trent Manning. Let's have some fun. This thing's running really slow, so I'm trying to ask y'all to speak. I think there you can hit at the bottom left to if you want to speak, because I don't know why it doesn't want to let me add y'all.
I can hear you loud and clear, Trent.
All right, well that's good. Yeah, I was trying to add Nate and Mo and Chris, and I don't know why it won't let me add them. I know Chris is probably because he's in Canada, but I don't know why it won't let me add anybody else. Maybe you got to be in Michigan. I guess I dropped off there. I don't know what's going on here. I just approved Mo. About them and about them.
Cheating.
Is
All right.
is this Mo?
Yep, this is Mo.
All right,
Yeah,
man.
I had to get everything set up with allowing the phone to use the microphone and the camera and this and that.
Right, I got you. Yeah, it's a challenge. And I hadn't done this in quite some time. So, I don't know what this thing's doing. Chris says he's picking up pizza for the boys. So, that's good to know.
We're doing hot dogs tonight.
All right. Well, that's good. Can't beat that. Can't go wrong with a hot dog. Yeah. I'm not going to say first thing that comes to mind. We'll just leave it PG here. Mo, do you do any 3D, CAD, CAM, any of that stuff?
I used to a couple years ago. I got it's a Sculpto. It was at Joann's. I got it for like $50.
Okay.
And I started messing around with it like on Thingiverse, just like to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I never got into the part of designing stuff because half the stuff is made of plastic, and like most of what we do or what I would do around the house, I don't know what would be the appropriate application for the different kinds of filament they got. So I just never really got into it.
So, but it was more of a 3D printer type thing?
Oh yeah, it's a 3D printer. It Sculpto, Sculpto. If you look it up on YouTube, you can see it's got like a rotating base, and then the nozzle sits on top, and it does its thing, and it's pretty easy to use. But like when you want to do stuff, and you got to like when you're 3D printing, make a base, and then you make the support while it's printing, and then all that. I never really got into all the minutia of doing it. But in school, I took some CAD, and that's pretty basic stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I've been recently trying to learn Fusion 360. That's new to me. I got a CNC machine. It's more of a woodworking CNC machine. I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And what's that?
Because you sound like me. You got it 5 or 6 years ago. Still haven't got around to using it.
Well, no. This thing I've used a lot. But the program I use for it is Vectric, or it's made by Vectric, and it's VCarve desktop version. And that's the software that I'm familiar with. And there was a learning curve there. It took me a while to get my brain wrapped around that, because you would think it would be really easy to draw a line, but it's not that easy. So you got to watch videos and all that stuff. I said in the group chat the other day, just joking around, I need to watch a 20-minute video to learn how to draw a single line. But but the VCarve, so it has the CAD side where you create whatever your project is, and then it has the CAM side that writes the G code and all different types of toolpath whether you're carving or making a pocket. I mean, it's got a lot of different options there when it comes to carving stuff out.
Yeah, when I was looking at that stuff for like doing woodworking, the Sheipoku came out.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty popular. And that was some piqued my interest. But yeah, I kind of one of those people that's like ADHD and oh, that looks cool. I'll get that. And then you kind of get into it and you don't really use it till its fullest potential.
Yeah, no, I'm guilty of that. I don't, it's whatever the bright shiny thing is. That's what I tend to draw towards, and then wait for another bright shiny thing to come up. I know Nate's been playing around here lately. I talked to him earlier today with his new plasma table.
Free trial just in last.
Oh dang! Well, so can't you use that though? The Fusion 360 with if you're what is it called? It's like personal use, like non-commercial.
I talked to. There's been a sales rep that's calling and emailing me ever since I created an account with you, and I talked to him today, and just to find out what the best avenue was for me, and he told me that there is a free version. CAM software is not available in the free version, which I use
Okay.
for creating toolpaths and things of that nature. Um, whether or not this, there's another piece of software out there that's free that I can use in place of that, I'm sure there is. I think I'm just gonna. I've got a shopping cart. I just pay, and pay for the subscription.
Well, I don't want to call you out here, but isn't that a pretty pricey subscription?
$680 a year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, this is crazy to me. I don't know.
It's one of those things for me. It's nice to have everything in one piece of software.
Oh, I totally agree with that too, because I've made, or I mean, listen to this. I made a disc that is about 5/8 diameter and it's about an 1/8 thick, and it has a spot for a countersunk number 6 screw. And that took me 4 or 5 hours to design that, and then I downloaded the STL file from that, and then I had to put it in a slicer in another program, and then it said it was too small to print, trying to print it on my 3D printer. Yeah, so I can respect having everything in one program.
And the software that comes with the plasma table, I bought the Langmuir Crashfire Pro plasma table, and it has its own little computer that runs it, and it's got fire control as the software it uses. And it literally, I just plug it into the laptop with a USB cord, and then when I've created my G-Code Fusion, it automatically saves it to a specific folder that I delegate or allocated, and then as soon as I plug up to fire control, it automatically opens up, and I just click open the G-code file that I had, and it's ready to go.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, maybe I'll bite the bullet and do it. I'll pay some decent subscription fees for the podcast stuff, like editing software and the company Riverside that I use to record the podcast. So I'll just take it out of the old Real Turf Techs budget, I guess. I'm gonna have to get another sponsor though, or start selling something.
Well, the next piece of software I want to mess with later on down the road is Adobe Illustrator's got I mean, I think it's 25, 30 bucks a month for that, but it's got a new AI generator in it. So you can just type in what you want an image of and it'll create it itself.
Yeah, that's
I don't
pretty
know what its
incredible.
limitations are.
Yeah, I mean, all this AI stuff, and I've been playing with a little bit Chat GPT, and it's amazing what it puts out with the amount of, it's a small amount of effort you have to put into Chat GPT, and it just spits all this stuff out. And it's like, how does it know? I mean, it's crazy. It's almost scary.
It is. T1000 to come.
Well, yeah. So a guy at work today, one of our assistant superintendents, was showing me a video, and it looked just like iRobot. And this guy's talking to the robot, and there's a table in front of the robot, and a few things I couldn't see what all was on the table, but it said, "Hand me something to eat," and it picks up an apple and hands it to the dude. And then the dude like dumps out some trash, and there's a plastic container, and he says, "I want you to explain why you gave me the apple while you put away this trash." And the thing like starts explaining, well, that was the only thing on the table, and he's picking the trash up and putting it back in the container, and I don't, maybe this is AI generated AI. I don't know what's going on here, man. It's crazy.
That is scary.
So yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll have some of these robots riding the mowers and mowing fairways. I don't know, or send them out to weed eat. I don't know.
Yeah, have them smart enough to know where to go when need it.
Yeah, can you train them to use a fly mow around lake banks? Well, this all questions I got. Say again, Mo.
I said, or stay away from lake banks.
Yeah, that could be too. Yeah, I mean, who knows? This is it's nuts.
Water and robots. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and like all the robotic mowers, that's what I want to know. Can it replace a fly mower? If you can make a robotic mower that has pontoons on it that can mow lake banks or something, I'm sold. I'd buy a bunch.
So speaking of CAD and CAM, I'm wondering if there won't one day be an ability to take one of those autonomous mowers and instead of using those proximity sensors, if you can program XY coordinates for it to repetitively follow, and instead of being autonomous, it's just following orders and can mow when you tell it to.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it definitely makes sense. I mean, why not? If it go ahead.
Sorry. Let's say, doesn't Toro have a product when they came out to show one of their sprayers? The guy came out beforehand and mapped a part of our course to do the GPS part on the sprayer. I mean, that would be something, you could do with the mower, all that.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's kind of where the technology is going right now, but all of that is GPS based, and a lot of it works off of RTK repeaters that you have to, pay for it. So, yeah, they go out and map the course and they create boundaries basically, and then the sprayer will stay, or the mower, whatever you're running, will stay inside those boundaries. And I don't know if Toro has it worked out, and I know they're working on it, but I don't know if it's complete. But John Deere, their GPS sprayers is pretty slick, so it works off the same technology. And the RTK, you can get it Verizon or AT&T, whichever one has better service in your area. But say you spray a pass across the fairway with one sprayer. If you come back with another sprayer and go perpendicular and at an angle and cross that path that the other sprayer sprayed, it will turn the nozzles off as it gets to the pass and then turn it back on after it crosses over, which is really cool. So cool. Everybody doesn't have anything to say about it.
The funny thing is, Trent, is that's been out like years had that ag for like 20 years now. It's just finally getting to the point where they're getting it into the biggest part was on the platform. Like for instance, I know, I mean, this was 20, probably not quite 20 years, but probably 15 years ago. Um, I know a farmer back home, and he would spray, and then if it was too wet, he would just go around it, and then it would all store, and then he would pull a separate sprayer that he set up behind a truck. Hold on, set up behind a truck that was set for corn rows and everything, and he'd go back respray that later on, different day.
That's crazy. Yeah, yeah. And why did it take so long to get to us? I don't know. And everything that I've heard anyway, I think John Deere's got the market kind of cornered on the GPS technology because the few courses around me in the South, and granted in the South we have a lot of trees, and we used one of the Toro sprayers for several years, and we just couldn't get it to work in some areas of our course because of the tree cover. And it was the course in Midtown Atlanta, so there's high rises, and I don't know what's happening to GPS signals over that course.
Yeah, the it's amazing the technology that ag has that we don't. Like even I have a buddy at the agronomist at a research farm, and he said that they're working on a variable corn planter. So what happens is they will the planter has like moisture meters and whatnot in the seed monitors, and it will disperse seed based on the need they think for that soil. So like it'll be more or less seed. Obviously in a wetter area, they're probably going to do a little bit less seed. And if it's more, if it's drier, they'll put a little bit more seed in it. Just by pulling it, and the amount of information he sprays, too. So it's the amount of technology that they have on their sprayers. Like he's like, if they got a clogged nozzle, they know right away. There's an alert goes off because it can sense the difference in pressure, that small variance in pressure, and say, oh, you got a plugged nozzle. But it's amazing that the technology that ag has that isn't quite come over to our side yet.
Yeah, it's crazy what all they got going on. Yeah, and I'm sure we could have a lot of the same stuff. And like you said, John Deere's had this in ag for however long. I mean, I don't know why it took so long to get over here, if there wasn't a need for it, if labor was cheaper, or back in the day, maybe there wasn't a need for it. But with labor shortages and everything else, I definitely think there is now. I seen Jordan Roth joined. I don't know if he joined just because Nate's in here, another person from Nebraska, or if he thought there was a 2x4 to talk to in the room.
No, I thought I've never done one of these. I thought I'd just kind of in the shadows. That lasted 1 minute, and then I had to turn my mic on. So, hi, everybody.
Yeah, no, welcome, Jordan. Man, I really like you, so I'm just giving you a hard time.
I appreciate it. I would expect less.
Yeah, that's right.
So we kind of talk about the ag industry and technologically advanced, and they are. It probably comes down to dollars and cents aspect of it, just as far as the sheer amount of money that goes in for inputs and outputs on that industry compared to what we have. But one other thing I find interesting is I come from a farming family on sides. My mom's brother has been experimenting the last couple of years tracking growing degree days and spoon feeding nitrogen on his fields as far as row crops go, corn and soybeans.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something we've been tracking growing degree days for growth regulators for quite a while in our industry. So he was talking to me about it. I'm like, that's kind of old news for us, but you guys got all the fun toys. So I think there's a little trade off.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, I guess. Yeah, I'm surprised those farmers were not doing that already.
Yeah, and with where they're at logistically in the state of Nebraska as far as the nitrate levels in the groundwater, there's like different phases, and I'm not smart to give you all the details, but they're becoming more and more regulated on the side of things as far as leaching and runoff goes for chemicals and fertilizers. So
Hmm.
they're really, I mean, they're in a place where you can used to be able to go, 10, 20 feet and dig a well and find water.
Right.
So it's something they're becoming more and more conscientious of and trying to be stewards of the environment. And I think sometimes as some golf courses get labeled as, oh, it's a golf course, it's bad for the environment. It's like, trying to do what we do and do a good job of it so we can keep doing it for quite a while. That's just my opinion.
Well, no, and I mean, I think anybody in this room that would agree with you that, I mean, we spent a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money to help the environment and try to do the right thing. We don't pour our oil down the drain anymore. No, not that I ever did. But, I mean, that stuff was happening back in the day. Pour it in a ditch and dig a hole. I mean, we're not doing that. And all these, chemicals that we spray on the golf course are pretty darn safe as far as getting into drinking water and, all that kind of stuff. And I forget what I heard some kind of study saying you were more likely to be exposed to Roundup buying groceries at the grocery store than you were playing golf or working on a golf course.
Yeah, I don't doubt that to some extent there. I feel like probably us as homeowners have more potential to be more hazardous to our surroundings than businesses, farmers, and golf courses, just with the lack of regulation on use on stuff. Yeah, this is kind of an odd topic for EMs. Usually we talk like bed knife angles and clip rates, don't we?
Well, so this started out as more of a CAD, 3D printing.
And
Yeah,
eyesight risk. My
yeah,
apologies.
yep. Then you come in and talk about farming and spraying and all that stuff. So
Did Nate Lyon bring up his CNC plasma machine he's got set up yet?
yeah, that's all we've talked about. So
He keeps sending me pictures. I'm gonna have to put an order in one of these days.
well, I'm ahead of line and I'm in front of you in line. I already got an order in. I'm excited about it. Talking to him about it today.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
I got a few things going right now, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, and again, Nate, why did you get this? Just to play with or what?
Honestly, so I'll give you the shortest version of the story as I can. But me and my wife, when we left Florida, we bought an RV and lived in it for about 2.5 years. And then May of last year is when we bought our house that we're in now, and we thought that we would be able to sell the RV rather quickly, and that has turned out to be the case. So I got it with the intention of trying to make a little bit of money with it to offset the expense of that RV just sitting in the yard.
Okay, that makes sense. I know Jordan's already got an RV, right?
Yeah, I got a good line on one.
Yeah.
But,
So
yeah, we do the glamping thing, and Nate's RV is like glamping on steroids. I mean, that's beyond the weekend adventure for a guy like me.
okay.
I think it's twice the size of my first apartment when I got out of.
It's got some size to it. A 42-foot fifth wheel with 4 slide outs.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to live in it for 2 years, that's a whole different story.
Well, it was nice while it lasted. Now that we're in the house, it's just sitting back there, just collecting dust and dry rotting in the sun. So I had to put a cover on it to protect it, and
Mm-hmm.
and just still making that monthly payment even though we're not using it.
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, when I had a bass boat and I was making a payment, in the wintertime and not fishing, and like, really? Why am I paying for this? But yeah, that's tough.
But I've always wanted a CNC plasma. I also want CNC route. You mentioned. I mean, I want it all. Don't we all? Don't all of us want that? Um, ways to sweet talk the wife into getting it. When I told her that we could make some money with it and offset our RV payment, and that got her sold. So
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You snuck that one
yeah,
in. I like.
oh, yeah, two birds, one stone worked out well.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good. And I think John, he's been working on a table, and now that Nate has one, maybe he'll get with the program and get his together. You still there, John?
Yeah, gotta get my button gear.
Well, it didn't like
Yeah.
you got anything else going on, like
Oh no,
restoring
no.
25 different cars and selling them and everything
Well,
else.
I mean, I just picked up a Volkswagen. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Price was right, I'm sure.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Yep.
But yeah,
It always is.
like literally, I think I just gotta get steel and bolt. I think I have everything else I need. All my parts are 3D printed.
Really? Yeah.
Takes a
So,
long time.
yeah, walk me through this. I want to see what
So,
this is about.
it's essentially, um, kind of like JD's Garage on YouTube. They took like the smaller Langmuir CNC plasma table and pretty much essentially copied it and did like a bunch of 3D printed files um, to make like all your bearing carriers, like torch holder, like a bunch of parts.
Okay.
Then it's just like 2x2 steel frame, gantry with like a support. And then I have like printed out the Z axis, so it's you can actually adjust the Z axis. Hopefully, eventually it'll come with a torch height controller. But yeah, stepper motors, Arduino, RAM.
Okay.
So it's like I have a box of a bunch of electrical parts, a box full of 3D printed parts now, and then some like just bracing and like motor plates cut out of like 1/4 inch plate. And it's
So,
gonna
do they sell like a kit with all the
they
motor
sell
parts?
no, they sell plans for like $25.
Okay.
So
And
it's
it's got all the files that you
all
need
the
to print.
files. Yeah, all the files you need to print. 1-to-1 like drawings for like the motor plate, stuff like that, and then like instructions on how to build the whole thing. And then they have a list like in their like, bill of materials. They have a list of like everything you need, links to pretty much all the stuff, like electronic stuff you have to buy, a whole link to Amazon. You can find stuff cheaper. Obviously, if you want to dig like through like eBay or
Mm-hmm.
wherever else, you can find stuff. I guess save a couple bucks here and there. But like they say, minus like because like they use for their water table, they use a washer pan that you would buy for your washer, like stainless steel washer pan,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really like probably the most expensive piece besides a plasma cutter, obviously.
Hmm.
Because it's like $130 for that pan. Obviously, you don't even need one technically, but they say minus the water pan, you can do it for like $350 minus the CNC plasma cutter, obviously.
Okay.
Like I don't know what I have into it. Like it's been like a long process of just gathering parts.
Yeah.
Instead, like 3D printed a bunch of parts, obviously. Just gotta go to the steel yard and get steel. And start putting it together.
But it'll work with any plasma cutter?
It has to be like a blowback. It can't be the cheap plasma cutter. I can't remember the two differences. Like I think it's the high frequencies. I can't remember. They list, I guess, they use a Lotus or one of eBay or Amazon plasma cutters. Like I know like someone's using one of the Harbor Freight ones. It doesn't have like per se like the just a regular plug-in for like the CNC to turn a torch on. You
Mm-hmm.
actually have to open the case and then like tap into the wires. Like the plasma cutter I got off of, it was technically through Amazon, but it was Amazon return. So like it was like half price. I actually had, you can just plug it into like the, pretty much the electronic box you're making for the plasma cutter
Ah, okay.
because it has, it's made for CNC machine.
I
So
got
it already has like, the connectors for it. So it's not like I have to open it up and hardwire. I can just plug it in. So kind of nice that way.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because, I
So
was just thinking, I got a plasma cutter. Could I just, spend the
yeah,
money and do something like this?
because I know, like pretty much that's like a blowback plasma cutter I got, and like they have a list of ones like they recommend to use. I just don't know. I can't remember. I think it's the high frequency one, or the ones I definitely know the ones you have to touch the metal to start you can't use. I know that it screws up with all the electronics on the table.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what the problem is with some of the plasma cutters.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I think anything that you would use with a regular table, like any table, you could use with this.
Okay.
So I mean, if you know yours could be used with a plasma table, you build your own.
Yeah, I don't probably.
Yeah.
I hadn't
And
even
then,
heard of a plasma table when I got this thing. I think they were out, but I hadn't heard about it.
well, you really could build it like I guess certain on like the y-axis, I think, is a certain length you can go because of the gantry style it is. It's not supported on the other end. But essentially, if I want to build a bigger table, I'm going to print more bearing block for the gantry and then run like parallel tubes to get like a 4x8 if I want to do it down.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's nice because like, you can pretty much build whatever size table you want with the basics that they have, but you have to like do a little bit more to do that.
Well, and I was also thinking about that. If you could get this thing up and running, you could even cut out your, the plates, the mounting surfaces for the stepper motors and all that stuff instead of having them 3D printed.
Oh yeah. Oh well, like so like the mounts for the motors and stuff are all like, pretty much hand cut out right now. Because on a plasma table,
Ah,
So
okay.
essentially you could just start cutting the pieces for like another table or someone else's or whatever you want to do. But they also have like they have like a rotary tube knot they have for it. Like, it's included in the plan.
Oh,
And
okay.
and essentially what they do is they give you the files to plasma cut the pieces for that. Pretty much so like you get your table set up, and once you start to learn to use it, then you can make your rotary tubing notcher with like your plasma table, do that.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's pretty
Yeah.
wild how they do infusion to notch tubes and stuff. It's wild because like it's not what you like because it's all like drawn flat, but then like infusion you can turn it so like it's the 2-inch tube or whatever, and you can see what the notch is going to look like. So if you design infusion, like it'll tell you like you'll know where to put your notch, where to bend if you're building like whatever you're building. But it's wild how you can do that all infusion and then like pretty much straighten that pipe, notch it, bend it, and then everything fits together. It blows my mind. Like I gotta spend more time in fusion. Like you said, every time you get in there, it's like another hour figuring out how do I draw this line again? How do I do this?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So, yeah, long story, but we got time, right? So I bought, I don't know what year it is, but it's a 13-inch South Bend lathe. It's got like a 6-foot bed. I think I can get in a piece, almost 48 inches in between centers. But This thing's forever old. And one of the gears that drives the shaft, it was broken. And somebody had tried to repair it, and it broke again. And obviously they hadn't made these in I don't know how many years. So you can't really find parts for them. And I found some dude on eBay, and he's 3D printing gears for these South Bend lathes, and he puts a brass bushing or a bronze bushing in the center of it, and he's selling them for like $60. So anyway, I got a 3D printer. So I said, all right, I want to make one of these. And I had this idea, 3 months ago, and I got in there and figured out how, and they make it pretty easy how to do a spur gear in Fusion 360. But I go back in there the other day, I have no clue. So I have to watch the video all over again on how to do a spur gear. So yeah, anyway, I get where you're coming from. I feel your pain.
It's weird because it's not intuitive as you would think it would be to like do stuff, but once you like kind of like remember or watch the video, learn how to do it, it's like, okay, I can do this again. But if you don't do it every day, like I said, it's not very intuitive how the controls are on it.
No, and that's the thing that kind of bugs me, because if you make whatever it is, you make a circle. How do you go back and change the size of that circle? You know, they don't make that really straightforward and easy to do.
No. I can't remember what I was trying to do not the other day, but a couple weeks ago, I was trying to do something and like, I literally was trying to make a block. I'm like, it can't be this hard. Like, go watch a video on it. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm stupid. Then like trying to resize something, I'm like, no, there's nowhere to click on here just to resize it. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I end up, going back and,
Draw it 5 times.
yep. Just keep drawing it over again. Delete, start over, delete, start over. So I've got pretty good at that part of it.
I'm sure it's probably an easy way. I just haven't found it yet.
Nate, you got any ideas on how you go back and fix stuff?
No, I run into the same problem.
Okay. I'm glad me and John aren't the only ones that run into this.
The only thing that I found that helps is the sketch scale. Have you messed with that at all?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, where is that at?
It's under Modify when you're in Fusion, and what you can do is you click sketch scale, and once you've selected that, you click on any item or line or whatever within your sketch, and you add in it'll ask you, normally when you draw a circle or rectangle, whatever, it asks you like what your radius is, or what you want it to be. In this, it's a multiplier. So if you drew a 2-inch circle and then you decided you wanted a 4-inch circle, you do sketch scale and click on that circle and type in 2. It'll double the size of that circle.
Oh, okay.
But if it's not an even number, I'll give you an example. There was an item that I was doing the other day. I took an image and got it all the way I wanted to, but it was too large or too small for what I wanted. I wanted to make a 24-inch piece or a sign, and this thing was 8 inches in diameter. So, but it was 8 point. So I just did the math on the calculator and to find out what I needed to multiply it by to get it exactly 24 inches. Being, 2.756 or something.
Oh, okay.
And so I used that as my multiplier, and then my entire image expanded to exactly 24 inches diameter.
And that scale under Modify? Is that what you said? Did I lose you?
Yeah, I took off my microphone as soon as I clicked over to Fusion.
Oh, okay. Yep, that happens.
Yeah, when you're in the sketch, then you go to Modify, it'll say Sketch Scale.
Ah, okay. All right.
In the drop-down box under Modify.
All right. Yeah, I just pulled it up and pulled up Modify, and there's a scale there under Modify, but I'm not in the Sketch tab.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's really tricky is whether or not how to get back into a sketch if you accidentally get out of it. It can be tricky.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. The other day, so I got like 3 or 4 files and on these different things I've been working on, and I had no idea how to get into one. And I'm like, how do I find it? And it was, I don't know what the deal was, but on my laptop, I was connected to the internet, but Fusion was not connected to the internet. And for like 20 minutes, it wasn't connected. And I'm, messing around trying to figure out how to get in this thing. And that's what it was.
Yeah,
I keep
working
clicking on it.
offline.
Say again?
I get that working offline prompt.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, well, the other thing, a lot of times I'll leave Fusion open and close my laptop. And yeah, when I open it back up, it doesn't like to play nice with me.
Fun learn.
When I had the same experience with that program I was talking about before with VCarve, I mean, that was a fun learning curve, figuring all that stuff out and being able to, we, we make all the signs, or I say I make all the signs for the golf course. And I should say because we got a guy that he's really talented woodworker and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times he'll cut out the squares and I'll do all the carving. But what I started getting into is high density urethane. And so it's a dense foam. I forget what weight, 15, 20 pound weight, whatever it is. And the cool thing about it is it's really easy on your bits and you can carve it at almost double the speed as wood. And,
Wow.
and it doesn't absorb moisture. I mean, it's awesome. And it paints, you can paint it just like you would wood. And it lasts for a really long time. So I've been out of business for like the last 3 or 4 years because we got all our signs done. So we'll see. And occasionally they'll say, "Oh, we need a sign for this," but all the signs is set up and ready to go. And that was kind of a selling thing to the club on getting this particular CNC machine is we could do that kind of stuff with it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I talked to my boss about the same thing, kind of cutouts for T markers and hole signs and things of that nature. Maybe one day I'll get that contract.
Yeah. That's possible. I know Corey Phillips. When he was at Horseshoe Bend. He's not there now, but when he was there, he was working on 3D printing T markers. But I don't know that he ever finished that. And a lot of it was, well, that was a lot of it. Yeah, is the print time, and then the design that they wanted, was not easy to print.
Yeah.
So he was, working out all that stuff on how he could print it.
Well, I think I said this in the WhatsApp yesterday. I feel for you guys trying to do like 3D printing for Fusion, just because I could only imagine trying as much of a challenge and learning curve as it is for me doing 2-dimensional sketches. I could only imagine what it's like for you guys to do 3-dimensional sketches in there. And it just blows my mind.
I mean, it all depends what you're doing.
I'm going to steal this from Jordan Roth. It's a whole nother dimension. That's my dad joke for the night. Couldn't help. Had to go there.
Good.
There's a good. I'll derail this again, but you got to remember, I'm not into 3D printing. I'm not a CNC plasma thing or design software. I just got a question here for you guys that do this more than I do. Like we have a system in our shop. He got a 3D print, and I was asking him a few things because I thought, hey, it'd be really cool if we could 3D print some sort of bearing housing cover for cutting it so that we could put an OD in there, bearing housing cover on the cutting unit and wash cutting units in the off season in the wash bay without having to worry about water intrusion. If that makes sense, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because right now I just use like a piece of Lexan, 3 layers of Gorilla Tape, and the holes drilled in the right spot. It'd be cool if it was or snap and sit that. Yeah. Anyway, he told me that like the filament he's using in his 3D printer states it's not good to be in or around water. So is there various filaments that you guys can pick when you're doing your 3D print projects that are more conducive to a environment versus maybe Buddy Jacobs using?
That's a great question, and I'll let somebody else jump in here because I don't know. All I've used is PLA, and it's I don't know if it can handle the wet stuff or not.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, I'm trying to think offhand because PLA, PPG, ABS. I would think ABS would be fine, but brings another problem of you really want an enclosure and ventilation because ABS and ASA are pretty nasty.
You're going to want to think about getting a tumbler as well. Something to kind of like smooth out the stair stepping so that you don't have any water seep in. And then another thing you might want to think about doing is clear coating on top of it too. You might also want to look at a different technology like a resin-based technology. Those tend to hold up a lot better. They have smoother surfaces. You can get those types of printers like a DLP printer for like $200, $300, $400. Most of them are Chinese, but like, and the only thing I'll say about those is like the resin, they tend to like stink up the whole place. You know, it's basically a liquid cancer, but just make sure you understand that. But I mean, you get better finish with resin-based printers. You know, where you get that stair stepping on the FDM printers, you're not gonna have that with a resin-based printer.
Very cool.
Right. That's kind of what he was saying. He goes, I can't do it with what I got. And I'm like a superintendent trying to set a cutting unit up when it comes to this stuff. So he goes, I don't want to put it inside my house. I'm like, hey, enough said, man. That's all you got to say.
Just to introduce myself. So I actually I've sold industrial 3D printers like as part of my career. So I've just been lurking and just listening to what you guys are talking about. I have no clue about like agricultural stuff, but I just think it's wild that you guys are using 3D printers to like fix your stuff. I think it's cool.
Well, yeah, so to give you a little background on us, we're all golf course mechanics. And so we work on all the golf course equipment. And just like everybody thinks, we work on lawnmowers and golf carts, which we do. But the lawnmowers we work on, like a fairway mower, is upwards of $100,000. So it's not, Pawpaw's snapper that cost a couple $100 back in the day. So
Sure.
pretty high end stuff. And I've talked about it a couple times with some other friends that it wouldn't surprise me one day if some of the big manufacturers like John Deere or Toro would just sell you the file and you could print your own plastic part.
100%. You're hitting the nail on the head, but like, cause they already have an AM center of excellence at Deere. I know that for a fact. Like, I worked at HP on the 3D printing team, and I also worked at a company called EOS. They make they make the most like metal 3D printers on the planet. And so they sell directly to those guys. And those guys have like an AM center of excellence somewhere in like either North Carolina or probably like in Chicago somewhere, because I know they got a big office in Illinois. So that definitely hitting the nail on the head there in the sense of like eventually just be able to buy the file and print it. Now, for people like you and me, like don't have room for like one of those large industrial printers that can print those really nice parts. The problem that the future is probably like community driven sort of centers where they have those sorts of printers, right? And
Okay.
yeah, kind of like a library sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you know of any of those in the country?
Absolutely. So when I worked at HP, you can feel free to connect with me offline.
Oh, sure.
I can direct you to a couple manufacturers that have HP's technology. So if you're looking for something more robust on a plastic side, I would definitely look at like Nylon 12. Like that's a really good one. And then I know that HP technology also prints polypropylene. So you'll get a nice smooth finish. It's almost like an injection molded plastic. But pretty dense, pretty tough. That's on the polymer side. And then if you're looking for something metallic too, there's some guys that can print one-offs. But the thing is though, metal 3D printing is still pretty darn expensive, like per part. So,
Yep.
There's definitely that.
So it's still probably, if you can cut it out, it's probably cheaper than trying to print it.
100%. Yeah. If you can cut it out, like the thing is too, is like designed the way it was, like in its traditional form, you're probably better off just like manufacturing it the traditional way. So, cause it's not optimized for 3D printing, but printing a gear in plastic, like absolutely. I like with the HP machine, you can like toss so many parts in that it brings down the cost. So it's like super cheap.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. That's cool.
Like send cuts and for 3D printing, so to speak.
I'm sorry.
You familiar with send cut send?
There's so many businesses out there. Like,
Send cut send is a pretty large company as far as metal cutting, plasma and laser cutting. You can just send them CAD files or sketches, and they cut a part out for you and send it back to you. And I was doing some reading on their website a few weeks ago, and they're in the process of expanding the services that they can offer into 3D printing and wood products such as CNC routers and stuff like that. So that'll be a good resource as well. They're pretty reasonably priced. You got a CAD file, you can send 2D CAD file, you can send anything to them and send it to you.
Sure. Yeah, no, and I couldn't help but notice hearing you guys talking about like, your troubles with 360. Like I'm not a designer by trade, like, but kind of farted around with it a couple times. And I totally agree with you guys that I look at this industry as kind of like a parallel to like the PC industry in like the 80s and 90s. Like there's like the whole bunch of rep people that have a bunch of 3D printers that take them apart. They know how to put them back together. But there's not like a really user-friendly like software that can kind of guide you through like the design process of like, really kind of like, becoming a power user on this stuff. And I think it's going to be important like in the future, especially you think about like your kids' generation. Like my niece is 8 years old and she's got 3D printers in her school, and she talks about how she like uses them in like a STEM class sometimes, like it's pretty wild, So it just reminds me of like back when not everybody had a computer. Like my brother and I would go to the library and we'd play Carmen Sandiego on the computer in the library,
I love it, man. We must be about the same age. It's so cool.
Yeah, like Oregon Trail or
Oh yeah. I loved Oregon Trail. Just don't get dysentery.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what needs to happen for 3D printing is it needs to be somewhere that like people can, somewhere local where communities can kind of like at a child level can like adopt it, and like kind of see it, touch it, feel it sort of thing. That's going to be necessary because as you see right now, all these like, overinflated, like software based companies are just like getting pummeled because we've lost the ability to make things, and, I think this technology can really help us like get back to that. So I think it's really like I said, I think it's really cool what you guys are doing and utilizing this technology for the good of what you guys are doing on an everyday basis. So I just thought it was really cool that you set up this room.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you jumping in here, and I'll be real honest. Most people that know me know how honest I am. Yeah, I just figured you were some troll. When you asked to speak a minute ago, I'm like, okay, who's this guy? So I left you hanging, and then when you jumped in the second time, I said, okay, well maybe he's got something to say. So, and I'm so glad you did because you seem very knowledgeable on this.
Oh, I appreciate, and I can understand too. I could kind of get that you guys have kind of been hosting a room together to get like just together. So figured that I probably was like some outsider or something. So totally understood. It's all good.
Yeah, and to give you a little bit more about us, so I have a podcast called The Real Turf Techs, and I interview like everybody that's in here speaking, and a lot of the people that's listening, I've interviewed before. So, we've known each other for a long time, and we're in the golf industry, and we see each other once a year at wherever our conference is. So, yeah, this is kind of, our group. And we got a WhatsApp group where we talk about this and that. And it just so happened, I'm kind of getting more into 3D printing, and Nate's working on his plasma table. And I know John's working on a plasma table. Plus, he does 3D printing. So, anyway, I just thought it'd be a fun topic tonight. Sometimes we talk about cutting units, like the real mowers that mow the grass. And sometimes we talk about equipment, and sometimes, who knows what we might be talking about. But thank you for stopping by.
Sure, no, I appreciate you having me over, but I just wanted to say, well, even though I don't have the capacity to kind of like help you technically on the design side, I know people that might be able to do that. So I'd be happy to facilitate, some people that might be able to kind of help guide you guys through a little bit through that. So, putting that out there, that's something you guys be interested in at some point.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'll, if I get to that point, I'm going to hit you up on X, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Sounds like a plan. Well, hey, thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah, no, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I don't want to steal too much of you guys' time.
Oh, no, that's
I'll let
all
you guys
good.
continue.
We're going to see what Big Shooter's got to say. He jumped in here. I'm sure he's a wealth of knowledge.
What up, Trent?
What's up, Seth? How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there. Tired.
Yeah. Long week. It's Tuesday.
Trying to finish it. I'm renovating a bathroom. Trying to finish that.
At your house or in the shop?
Yeah, my house.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's tough work.
What I was gonna say, I should be more interested in all this stuff because my dad, that's all he does is sell CNC machines and 3D printers and stuff. But I'm not smart enough to
What?
understand this
Yeah.
stuff.
What? You've been holding out on us this whole time?
Yeah, he sells basically the whole Southeast. If you're in a tech school or in high schools and whatnot, so they sell. I should send you some pictures of the stuff they sell. He's got an 18-wheeler with about 12 or 14 Miller welders in there that they sell to a tech schools for welding.
Okay. That's
There's
awesome.
like welding booths set up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I never got in. My stepbrother, he bought a CNC machine from the company and started making his own upper and lowers for AR-15s and stuff. And now he's got a pretty good business in Tennessee that he sells firearms to the military.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
So is he cutting those out of plastic or?
Oh,
No, he
cut 'em out.
bought serious. He's doing aluminum or something, right?
Yeah, these are like big CNC machines, not like,
Gotcha.
little ones that go in a van or something.
No, that's so cool
Yeah.
though.
It's
Yeah, I
like
don't. I might.
legit stuff.
I'm working on another project. I might hit your stepbrother up because I need some CNC stuff like that.
I know. One of their main manufacturers they sell for is Hot. For CNC.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. That's high dollar stuff. That's way out of my price range.
I never got in. He's retired now, so I think he's doing contract work. He was the president, and now he's just doing contract work while he's somewhat retired.
Okay, cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
If you go to any high school or anywhere, in Atlanta, or tech school, and they have 3D printers and stuff, they probably bought them from him.
Okay. Yeah. That's sweet.
So yeah,
Very
I
cool.
never got into it. Y'all got too much time just messing around with that stuff.
Well, I'll be honest, Seth. I don't have 2 little kids. When I had 2 little kids, yeah, I was not messing with this kind of stuff.
That's true.
But when the kids get older, you'll have time to mess with some stuff. Because I know your wife will not want you around the house too much.
Right.
Yeah. So why don't
You
you
don't have to worry about
go
that
play
stuff.
in traffic or something?
Yeah.
You want to give us an update? How's this renovation going? Bathroom renovation.
Bathroom
Yeah,
going.
it's going okay. Well,
Picking away at it.
if you get in a bind, just call Mike Rollins. I'm sure he'll come up
Yeah.
there and bail you out. It's all good. Why don't y'all got anything else y'all want to talk about? Anything else on your mind?
I'm sure Jim's got to have something in the chamber.
Oh, Jordan, yeah, he's always got something in the chamber, right?
Hey Trent, how was the run then?
Oh, it was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I'll say that of how good it was. Yeah, it was good. I was not a big fan of the onion rings, and I didn't try the fries.
See, the fries are where it's because if you've ever had Culver's, it's like if you could leave the Culver's French fries in the fryer for an extra 87 seconds, they're just crispier. They're just
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not a big crinkle fry because it's a little bit too much potato, not enough fry. But yeah, if they're crispy like that, that's what I'll do next time.
I'll make sure and take care of it. If you ever get back up here, we go somewhere cool, like Roundup or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, what are you talking about? If you ever get back up here, don't worry. I'll come see y'all again. Brian Epplin still owes me a ride in a 450 horsepower tractor that he didn't come through on last time I was up there. So got to get that set up.
Pretty sure the buddy seat in that tractor's bigger than any Glamour seat we see on our equipment. So
I'm sure. I'm sure it is. Yeah, when he told me that, I was like, this is crazy. Because I remember the first time I learned this news, Caterpillar D5 dozer. Anybody know what the horsepower is in one of those?
160 maybe.
It's like 100. I mean, this was years ago, so maybe it's increased some, but it's not a lot of horsepower. So when he told me that about the tractor, I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts. It's amazing power of hydraulics, right?
Yes, sir.
Y'all want to start talking about Pascal's law? Will that make people more comfortable?
Hey, Trent, I think you got to have. Not Seth's not calling Mike Rollins. He's calling, right?
No, who's that?
Calling the mullet man. He's not calling.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, Dwayne Grimes will hook you up, Seth.
He will do a bathroom like nobody's business. I mean, you'll have every nice vanity mirror you've ever wanted. I mean, you may not put in a bidet, but he'll do all the other stuff real good.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Seth, you just got to do better, dude. Got to do better.
Seth's been hearing that for a long time. Okay. Give him a break.
He came in hot into a turf talk a couple months ago. That's exactly the first thing he said walking in. Do better.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Dude, okay, what's going on?
All you Florida superintendents are complaining about your grass dying because El Nino, so just do better.
That's
Make it
good.
stop raining.
That's good.
My grass grew more. I don't know about anybody else. My grass grew.
Were y'all having a little turf talk tonight?
Yeah, we did one. We did a short one. We had a couple guys that volunteered to the players come on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. Who was it?
They did some. We had Jeremiah Mincy and Emily Casey.
Okay.
They came on and talked about stuff they learned there and how it went, and just overall about volunteering at an event and how beneficial it is. So
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I don't, I didn't know y'all were doing one, and I went to start mine, and I was like, whoopsie. I seen y'all were doing one, so I apologize.
well, I originally saw that it said 8 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, we'll do an hour one. And then like when Ty and I went to get on, I looked at it, and the same thing, it popped up here and said, oh, it's on at 7. I'm like, oh, we're both on at the same time.
Well,
We'll work this out and we'll go over there.
that's what happens when you live in the Eastern time zone and you schedule an event in Central time zone. That's how that worked. So yeah, I scheduled it yesterday when I was in Central time, and then I get here and I'm like, whoops, that's not right. So I changed
Yeah,
it
it
like
didn't work.
30 minutes before we got on. So I'll figure it out one day or not.
You have like watches on your wrist to find out everybody's time zone.
Yeah, right. And yeah, definitely let me know when y'all would like me to be on one. I would love to be there.
Definitely. We're through our list of people right now. I'm trying to get somebody lined up for next week. I haven't heard back from them since yesterday. So
What day do y'all normally go?
we usually do it Tuesday.
Okay.
Usually about 7:15, and we try to be off by about 9 o'clock because we all get up at dawn in the morning. So
Yeah. Every Tuesday?
we try to do it every Tuesday. I think we've only missed maybe one or two. I know one of them, Ty and I both had stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided we pushed it to a Thursday, I think.
Okay, sweet.
That's one of the things we've done before, but most of the time it's Tuesdays because that's usually we work Monday and a lot of private places down here especially, and Mondays are closed days, so they're usually pretty busy that they're not getting out till late. So we're like, all right, let's push it to a Tuesday, and we'll do it on Tuesday night. It seemed to work pretty good. So
Y'all been having pretty good attendance?
it was rare.
Yeah.
I think at the end, have you done a bunch of these spaces or not usually?
Not typically. I usually do maybe 4 or 5 a year, and if it wasn't for
Right.
Seth, I might do 1 a year. He kind of pushes me to do them sometimes, which is good. I need the extra motivation. And it's one of those things I'd love to do, but just not enough time in the day. Just like we're talking about, all this 3D printing stuff and learn how to use Fusion 360. And, I got a lot of other stuff that I enjoy doing. Not that I don't enjoy doing this, but I don't make this a priority.
Yeah, it's a lot more work than you think it is. At the end of these, it goes and it'll show you how many people listened and all that stuff. So you can kind of get an idea of how many people were there.
Yeah. No, that's definitely cool. Do y'all air y'all's later?
Yeah, so I take it off. I take it off and I'll edit it and I'll put it into form, and we got it out on Spotify.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, there's nothing out on Apple yet. We haven't cracked the code on getting an Apple ID. We've been trying, we haven't made it. So
It's not easy doing the spaces, I'll say that much.
yeah, we got a lot of technical issues, and something always happens. There's always something. We had the guy from Iceland that we were talking to, and we kept losing connection. We had a guy who he's not in turf at all. He just plays a lot of golf courses. So it's just a different view for somebody to listen to him, and gets a tornado warning. He's in Chicago.
Oh wow!
Tornado warning. He had to leave and run down to the basement, and there's always something that happens on our stuff. It's definitely a different animal than just recording it in the form.
Right. Yeah, who do y'all use to host?
That's why I just use the Spotify, but then
Okay.
we don't really, it literally isn't like you can actually download these spaces. So I go on and download those, and then I just edit those. So
I
that's where we
got
get them
you.
from.
Yeah, well, the reason I asked, so I use Buzzsprout, and I don't remember what it is a month, and it's different price ranges for however many hours of content you want them to host, but they make it really easy to get it on everyone's podcast platform, whether it be Spotify or Apple or any of those. And
I'm looking that up right now.
yeah, one of their plans is, I don't remember, it was like $9 a month or something. I think I'm on the $15 a month plan, which I don't even need to be now. That's when I was doing a weekly podcast. And I
Yeah,
was doing a bunch of
free,
bonus stuff.
free 12, 18, and 24. So yeah, the 6 hours a month, $18 a month. That's like the range we'd kind of be in.
And yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, off topic, but when I signed up for it, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He's got a super popular podcast, and he's a creator. I'll think
Not
of
Joe
his.
Rogan, isn't?
No, not that guy. But he does a lot of Pat Flynn. Is that it? I think it's Pat Flynn. Anyway, he had like a promo code where you got double the hours if you used his
cool.
promo code. And I don't know if that's still available, but that's what I did. So, and you might could even, Google Budcast promo codes or something and come up with something.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere. I'll definitely look into it. Yeah, that'd be very helpful because, yeah, just putting it out on Spotify, I've had so many people, even the guys that are against the grain there have told me, they're like, yeah, you got to get out on Apple because a lot of people listen to that. And we've been trying to make Apple IDs and both sides keep getting kicked out and it won't let us do it. And we're like, oh, this is crap. Like, how are we going to get this through here? So,
well, and Buzzsprout gives you the stats, and I know 70% of my listeners listen on Apple and 30% everywhere else. And there's like 20% on Spotify.
Well, I think the Spotify would still show me that because like I can look it up and it'll tell me, it'll tell 100% watch on Spotify, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some sort of diagrams that will show up on there when you do that. Again, we haven't had the chance to see it yet. But,
cool.
I'll definitely look into that other one. If it's setting up places, that's awesome.
Well, the next space we have, we'll talk about podcast and how to run them. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I don't care. I'm down. I'm down for whatever.
I thought you were really doing that. I'm like, great, this guy done it before. Look at this.
Well, now, I mean, I will. Yeah. Y'all want to do one? I'll do one. I don't care.
Heck, we're talking about how to keep javelin boars off a golf course by putting those wavy armband they have in front of car dealerships on ours. So.
Oh yeah. No, man, I would love to be out there with a rifle of some sort.
Yeah, problem she has out there, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. Yeah, do y'all have any boar in Florida?
Yeah, we get them. My place right now doesn't have them. Last place I was at didn't. You got to go to certain areas that have them.
Yeah.
I think allegedly kind of Ty's area there has some. But I've had them at other courses that we had to trap them and pull them away. So.
Yeah, not too far from me up here north of Atlanta, one of the mountains. There's a golf course there, Lake Airhead. It's a community in golf and lake and all that stuff. And they got a large population of wild boars. And they wreak havoc on the course.
Yeah. We had, when I was at Harbor Ridge, we had 3 of them that we had to catch. And I'd never been exposed to, wildlife like that. Your normal birds and all that kind of stuff, but I've never had to deal with pigs before. And the superintendent I was working for, he's hunted and done that all his life. And he's like, all right, trap these. You're going to help me out. I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. So he set up a trap and there were 3 of them in there. And I had to jump in there with them with the plywood and pin it against the wall. And we can hog tie them up and haul them away. And he took them somewhere. So it was pretty cool experience of that because I never had to deal with that before. So.
Oh yeah, no, that's crazy. Yep. Well, good stuff. I hadn't had dinner yet, so I'm gonna peace out.
Chan 4. We'll jump on next time you guys have it, and we'll jump on.
Well, yeah, if I don't, hit me up off air here, and we'll figure out a time. And seriously, we'll do a podcast thing. sometime.
That'd be cool. I think a lot of people will be interested in that. Just and like we were saying, it's like, you know, it's easy, but it sounds easy, but it's not as easy as I think it is. So
Well, yeah, I mean, you would think it's easy because everybody has a podcast now, but it's not so easy. And I spent, I mean, at least a year just researching and getting ideas and, you know, like what all equipment do I need, you know, the hosting, editing, you know, all the different softwares out there for that. Yeah. So yeah, I'd love to give a chat on that.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thank y'all. I appreciate it. Until
Thanks,
next
man.
time. See you. Bye.
Take it easy.
Hey guys.
Thank you so much for listening to the Real Turf Techs podcast. I hope you learned something today. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any topics you would like to discuss or you'd like to be a guest, find us on Twitter at Real Turf Techs. See you. Bye.